Welcome back to the channel! In today's adventure, we explore a very unique type of woodlands, the swamp and bayous of Texas.
Oh, this is absolutely terrifying.
He'll come after you. I really wonder what Mike is afraid of, especially as someone growing up in Arizona, the state when it comes to deadly animals, with 13 different species of rattlesnakes, various types of spiders, including the black widow, and a bunch of scorpions. But anyway, let's concentrate on photography and head out to the bayou, and let me tell you, we were in for a treat.
Alright guys, on this little fishing pier out here is pretty popular. You can see, not sure if you can see behind me, a lot of people. Also ran into a couple of subscribers here, Drew and Tosif. Shout out to those guys. Man, I am blown away. It is so cold. 29 degrees when we got out of the car. I forgot my gloves, so my hands are frozen, but absolutely worth it. The fog and the mist in this place with these trees, unreal. Chris is down here, you know, everybody's up on the pier shooting, and of course Chris is off by herself down here behind me. I'm gonna go walk around. My guy Drew, who I met today, said there's another pier, so I'm gonna walk over here, maybe see if we can find a couple of different compositions. What's really nice about this place is the mist keeps moving through these trees, and so things are getting covered up like different trees, so you can kind of shoot the same spot and just move your camera around a little bit, and the composition and the atmosphere is changing a little bit. So the atmosphere kind of changes a little bit as this fog moves through, you know, creates that separation between the trees, which is really nice. And whew, man.
I'm changing lenses like every 5 minutes. I'm on a 20-40-70 for some close-up photos, and then I'm changing back to the long lens. For the most scenes, I choose the 20-40-70 first, and then I switch over to my long lens to get some more detailed photos of the scene. But it's absolutely fantastic. The rolling fog really helps with the separation in between the trees, and I'm trying to get photos with different apertures too. So if there's a big tree in the foreground, I usually choose something like 5.6, and if it's a wider scene with more trees in the frame, like f10. And I think I found my favorite composition here, just underneath the pier. Because Mike and I have very different styles, we rarely end up photographing the same thing. But on this morning, we both ended up with a photo of this very interesting tree. I personally love Mike's first photo, but let us know what you think in the comments below.
I want you guys to know what I'm putting myself through to bring you guys content. I have this unhealthy and probably irrational fear of alligators, and they are definitely here. I'm on the shore walking around. Oh, this is absolutely terrifying. Hopefully you don't see any. Every time I talk to somebody about it, they're just like, oh, it's not that bad. I do not like the alligators. So every time there's like a fish jumps or something, like, ah, ah.
Well, you guys probably know, if I could shoot just one thing for the rest of my life, it would be trees. and I found myself a gem right here. I was moving the camera around for quite a bit just to get the composition right. There is an invasive species of like a water plant here in the foreground, so I placed this just at the right bottom corner of my photo, and I moved very close to the water just so I have a better reflection of the whole tree. And I really like how the whole scene almost shapes a triangle, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. Right now there's also just a little bit of light and color reflecting in the water surface, so let me take that photo right now.
So because of this, you know, this fear of these alligators, like I'm expecting, I'm right at the water's edge here, and they got all these green, mossy fallen leaves in the ground, or in the water right here at the shore. And I'm just expecting, like, you know, on Crocodile Dundee, when the crocodile comes up out of the water and grabs a lady with a canteen. It's it's such a spooky, like, eerie feeling. You have this fear. All the senses are definitely awake and aware right now, for sure. I have one tree that's right here in the foreground, and then I have some trees in the background there on the left-hand side, and I'm shooting around f5, and I've experimented with like f.8. I'm shooting at about 140 millimeters, and what I want is that background to be slightly out of focus. You know, there's already a bit of nice separation with the fog, but I also want just slightly out of focus, I think. But like I said, I'm shooting f5, f8, f11 to give myself some options later for the look that I like. You know, normally when I'm shooting woodlands and I want to create some separation, that's a great way to do it, is with your aperture to create that depth of field. But because we got this mist and this fog, I may not need to do that so much. You know, I may just like everything sharp, f11, and have everything sharp all the way through, because there's enough separation with this mist that I don't need to create that.
I absolutely love the images I got from this location, so much so that I've decided to do a limited time print sale. The 3 images that I've chosen really bring a sense of tranquility and serenity to your home or office. The link to these prints is in the description below.
One of the guys who I talked to, who watched the YouTube channel, Tosif, so he told me about an incident yesterday. He was on a boat, and he was in the front. They hit like a stump under the water, because this lake's not very deep, and he went all the way over and lost both of his cameras. Condolences, Tosif, on your camera. But the first thing that came into my mind was, well, what about the alligators? Did they get you? That was my biggest concern, not the cameras, the alligators. You know, it's so cold here, realistically. You know, when I try and stop and think rationally about it, of course they're not aggressive, obviously. They don't want anything to do with people. But that was my first thought. There's like an alligator always under the boat waiting for you to fall over, and it'll get you. Oh, look who I found. Oh, it's very swampy.
It is. We're in the swamp. It's swampy.
We're in the swamp, so it's kind of swampy, I guess, huh? That's what you got going on with your tripod. Oh, you got one leg on a stump there, one leg in the mud, and one leg on another stump.
Yeah, it was moving, like, you know, slowly sinking it in the mud. So this is what I came up with, and I think it's pretty genius.
There's probably an alligator like right there, and we don't even know. There's definitely an alligator there.
He'll come after you. Alright, I moved my crazy tripod setup because I realized it's not the right place to photograph this composition here. I found this gigantic cypress tree over here, and in a forest it's very rare to find something horizontal because all the tree trunks are just vertical. And this one branch is almost completely horizontal, and I think it's so interesting because the water surface is horizontal too. I zoomed in just on that one branch, and there's just a little bit of orange right at the tip of this little branch here. And right now I'm waiting for the sun to come through, because right behind this big cypress trees there is a bunch of smaller ones, and the sun is breaking through and is adding some beautiful orange to the background here, and I think it makes it very interesting with the orange leaves just all the way at the tip of this branch, and then the orange sunlight coming through these trees here in the background.
All right, ladies and gents, we are heading back now for second breakfast, and we survived the morning. No gator attacks, so we will call this, no matter what the photos look like, it is a success. Google Maps had us park in like a little pullout. There's a big parking lot down there. We wouldn't have had to hike. Not very far, it's like, 5 minutes, but all uphill going back. Could have just drove right to the pier. I hate Google Maps sometimes.
And in next week's video, we explore an abandoned factory in the swamp, and Mike tries to get the alligator's attention. We also go on probably the most spectacular boat trip of our lives. Thanks for watching until the end, and see you next week. Dang! Do over! No, horizontal. Do over! Take 5,000!